Right.
Oh gosh, the hair's going to go crazy. Never mind.
Yeah, is that okay? Is it good? Okay. Good. Hello, so today we are here in Amsterdam on a lovely place. Unfortunately, the weather is not so good. And we have a very special guest with us in Photo Facts Close Up. Her name is Anita Corbin. Hello, Anita.
Hello, lovely
Nice
to meet you.
Nice to have you here. Yes. You are very much, you started your career with the project Visible Girls.
That's correct, yeah.
A long time ago, I can
A long
say.
time ago?
Yes, yes. You were 20 years old when you started this project?
21, yeah.
21, okay.
yeah.
Could you tell us, because I think it was pretty social engaged project for a young person.
Yeah.
How did people respond?
I was 22 when I started shooting the Visible Girls, and I wanted to sort of place us on the map, if you like, as young women, and what we were doing at that time in 1980, 1981. It was a period of great upheaval anyway, because Thatcher had just been voted in. There was a lot of political unrest. Punk had just thrown everything up into the air. So as young women, we could go away from the conventional stereotype. It gave us a lot of freedom. So I think by photographing visible girls and looking at girls in subcultures in London, it kind of gave a collection to say to other young women, this is what's available, this is who you could be if you wanted to be. And in a way, by doing it in photography, it meant that you didn't have to read anything, you could just look at the pictures and feel the inspiration through the image.
Yeah, wow. And how did people respond on it? When they
I guess it was quite an unusual approach, because I was shooting on colour film, very slow colour film, in very dark places. So as a photographer,
challenging.
Very challenging. I could have made it a lot easier for myself. But I was a third-year student, and this was my final piece. And I just discovered that I was really only interested in photographing people. So I was also very focused on colour photography, and I wanted to make sure that the colours that I reproduced would be accurate.
And you needed the lighting.
So I needed the lighting. So I had a very powerful Braun, probably German or Dutch company, Braun 910 flash, which was very powerful, but I could carry it with me, and I had a really big battery pack that was probably loads of poisonous fluid in it that I was carrying around, and it was heavy, and my bag
and
full
impressive. A lot of people probably thought, what's happening here?
No stands though, didn't have any stands, so I was holding it with my Olympus OM2, which I was shooting at the time. So I had the Olympus OM2, usually the 35mm lens, a very colour 100 ASA film, or 125 maybe ASA film. No, 120. Anyway, a very slow film, and this flash, the powerful flash.
Wow.
Yeah.
And were people women immediately willing to participate in this project?
Well, you have to imagine.
You need to convince them?
There were no other photographers around at the time. Nobody had mobile phones. Some people didn't even have phones. There wasn't the internet. There wasn't digitization. Seeing a photographer out and about was an unusual affair. So there was an element of people wanting to be involved because it was something to do on a Friday night or a Saturday night. Because I was focusing on the girls only, and sometimes the boys got a bit like, we want to be in the picture too, and they'd be trying to get in the back. Quite often we go into the ladies' toilets, into the bathroom. So there was more peace and quiet there, and they were able to reveal more of their true characters without the public eye, really. So
that immediately brings me to a question that Juliana wanted to ask. She said, well, probably nowadays, if you would do a project like that again, that the young girls wouldn't be so much listening to the guys anymore. How do you see that?
I'm just starting to revisit the women, so we're all obviously in our 50s and somewhere in their 60s. The young women today probably they'd be much more into photographing themselves because they've all got iPhones, selfies. You see a lot of gaggles of girls around taking pictures of each other, and it's great because it reaffirms, a lot of their confidence. But obviously a lot of things have been retouched as well. So I think now there's much more competition to look good. Back then in the day, you had to look good in the flesh because it was all about being somewhere physically. You had to go to a pub or a club or a venue to hear the music.
And now it's online.
And now it's online, or you can virtually be there.
Yeah.
Because you can do Facebook Live, you can, doctor all your pictures, doctor the sound. Yes. So it's much more sort of about the process now, really, in a way, I think.
Yeah.
But I'm doing a pop-up show in Hull.
Okay.
And we're looking for young women and boys to photograph. So young visible girls of Hull and young visible boys of Hull, which will be that'll be like out on like a vox pop.
Yeah.
So with photography, I'm doing the photos, and then we've got my writers doing the journalistic side.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. So that's like, we'll see.
And when will that take place?
That's on the 9th of August in Hull, where the show is.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Wow. Good.
And we're trying to do that on every venue.
That's nice.
Do a pop-up.
That's
so
nice.
that we can take pictures of the local crowd and have them in the show, and probably in digital form, but have them in the show. Yeah,
great. That brings me to your second project that really is very impressive one, I think. First Women.
First Women, yes.
You started that already in 2009, I think.
Yeah, I was approaching my 50th birthday in 2008, and my children, Daisy and Louis, they'd gone off, around the world travelling, or nearly. No, wait a minute, they hadn't quite gone off around the world, but they were starting to become more independent.
Yeah.
They were 14, 15, and I was feeling, what was going to happen with my career, and how was I going to kind of recharge it again after being 15 years of being a mum, although I was still working.
Yeah.
So I decided that it was 100 years of women getting the vote next year, 2018, in England. I'm not sure when they got it here.
Sort of in the same year.
Same year.
Maybe
not
1921.
always. Yeah, a bit later maybe.
Yeah.
New Zealand was the first, 1898 or something.
Yeah.
But in England it was 1918. So next year is 2018. So I was planning ahead 10 years. I set myself a huge task to photograph 100 firsts.
Yeah.
100 first women who've been the first in their field in the UK. It's a UK-based project, but they don't have to be from the UK. They can have done the first within the UK, yeah. And I finished shooting last September, the 100.
Congratulations.
So I know, it was a huge, and all over the UK. I did about 100,000 miles.
Wow.
Took 7 years. All from from Susie Quattro, musician, to the youngest woman to win a gold at in the Olympic Taekwondo.
How did you select the women?
It was quite an organic process.
Yes.
So I'd talk to people, read about women, hear about women on the radio, and I didn't want to have a list to start with in 2008 because I felt it should be current and contemporary. So every time there's been a first, I've tried to photograph them in the last 8 years.
Yeah, and were there also women that said you have to call her because she should be in there?
Yes, exactly. Another first women would recommend first women, like the first woman beatboxer champion, world champion. She said you've got to photograph first woman to be a what do you call it? It's hip hop dancer. No, what do you call it when they're dancing on the street? Street dancing, but it's when you're spinning and.
Okay, yeah.
I can't remember what they call it now. Not hip hop.
Let's ask the young people.
And yes, what? Break dancing. Break dancing.
Yeah.
Break dancing. That's it. Yeah, break dancing. Yeah, no, I wouldn't try that myself.
Okay. No.
Yeah, she said you got to get the first woman break dancer as well, champion break dancer. So of course all the women have different subjects. It's very diverse, age and race and what the subject is as well. Yeah. My oldest was 104.
Oh, brilliant.
She was the first woman to get equal pay in 1943.
Yeah.
And she's since passed, but I got her when she was 104.
Yeah.
I know, amazing. And then the youngest was 18. Yeah.
Good.
So
all ages.
All ages, any age. Yeah.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, I wanted it to be a good cross section of women rather than aimed at, because a lot of firsts obviously have been in their career a long time. Yeah. So they're more my age or older. So I was quite careful to select a range of age.
Yeah. And when can we see the images?
Well, we've got a website,
I know.
Oh, yeah, we haven't got the thing here. But, yeah, we've got a website. Yes. First Women, well, it's first with one ST, womenuk.co.uk.
Okay.
The actual show will start next year, so that's 2018, in around this time of the year, actually, in July.
Good.
At the Royal College of Art in London.
Yeah, in London.
And that'll be on for 5 weeks.
And will it travel through the UK?
Yes, the plan is to travel it after that show.
Yeah.
Probably to sort of the towns around the UK where they've got gallery space.
Yeah.
But it's a big show. is 100 portraits.
Oh my God.
So 100 quite big portraits is the plan, to get that feeling of empowerment, and also to, when we do the display of the show, the hanging, we're going to mix up the subjects as well. So you don't have all the scientists in one room.
No.
So you've got
diversity.
like an audience coming in will see a whole range of women mixed up together.
Good.
Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah.
And that's why the crowdfunding.
Oh no, this is the crowdfunding for this.
Yeah, but also for first.
Not yet, but we will be. We will be starting. Yeah, the crowdfunding for Visible Girls.
Yes.
I don't know if you can see.
Beautiful.
There's a first edition colour.
Yeah.
An 80-page book, and I'll sign it as well. And we've got some of the women that I've re-photographed. I've been interviewed, so she's been re-interviewed. And there's some great stories in here, and we're also looking for some of the women still. We've got about 30% of the women still missing. Yeah. So we're hoping that they will find us through the various sources. So I've been re-photographing these women from 1980 to 2017, and they were 14 in that picture, and now they're 51. Oops. Oh dear. Oh, that's the article from the Observer. So some of these girls, we're still looking for these two girls here on the left.
Okay.
These two, I've found them, and I'll be re-photographing them soon.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, but we are crowdfunding, yes. So that's it.
We'll later on make sure to put the link in our little piece.
visiblegirls.com.
Yeah, visible.
Yeah, visible. And that's the idea is it's about reconnecting with your past, and that's what they look like now.
It's good.
So
you mentioned earlier in our interview that there were really stressful times in the UK when you were doing this with the punk and Thatcher. And, how is it right now with art and politics in the UK? I mean, we have now.
It's hard. It's really hard. I mean, when I was a student in 1970s, I was paid to go to university.
Yeah.
I didn't pay any fees. They were all sorted out.
Yeah.
I was given money for film. It wasn't a lot, but you could survive on it. And I mean, now the students, young people today, they're having this massive financial crisis before they've even got a job. Yeah. And it's so wrong. It shouldn't be like that at all. I mean, it's bad enough having a financial crisis when you're in your middle age, but to have it when you're like 20s, and I just think it's all, we have to invest in the youth. And I mean, thankfully my daughter's come to your country because she's had the best education here, and she's done so well, and it's cost her literally a third of the amount of money, and she's had about 3 times as much contact, I reckon. Yeah. I mean, unless you do a very practical. I mean, my son did a sports degree, so he had a lot of contact hours. But a lot of the contact hours in the UK now are 2 or 3 hours a week. Yeah. Which is, for the amount of money that they ask for. Yeah, it's wrong. It's all wrong. And then, of course, we've got the, the private loan company that's trying to double the amount of interest now. It's not a thought-out process at all, and. I mean, politically it's a hot potato, but nobody seems to want to actually do anything. No. And of course, trying to get funding for the arts.
Yes.
I mean, I managed to get some money from the Arts Council, which is great.
That's very good.
But it's not enough to do the whole project. So then you have to match fund it. Yeah. And it's actually really hard, even though business needs art, to be inspiring for their employees, and arts need business. Yeah. Because we need to be able to carry on our unique and original work. Definitely. Yeah. There doesn't seem to be a brokerage on that. No.
Is
that's
it about
a huge
not
project.
Understanding the value of art? Is it?
I think it is all about how quickly now everything is absorbed. 1 minute you're on the front page, and the next minute you're in the dustbin. Yeah. It's a very quick turnaround now. The process. There's not so much contemplation. You don't necessarily go to an art gallery and spend a long time there. You'll probably skim it and then maybe go online afterwards. So I think it's about not just about art, but the way our sort of psychology is working now. It's so much more it's dispersed, and in that way you have more interest, but it may be that you don't have quite so much depth. So it's difficult. I mean, getting money, I've always been a commercial photographer. I've never been in the arts world really till now. Yeah. And it's hard because you have to become a merchandiser. You have the merchandise, you know, the
Yeah.
limited edition catalogues, T-shirts, bags, you know, to try and raise money. And of course, you've got to pay for those. They don't give you those free. So you have to have enough money to be able to invest in the production, which a lot of people can't do. I mean, you know, I'm lucky in a way. I suppose I can borrow money to do. I can borrow money to do it. I don't have the money, but I have the means to borrow the money to do it. And hopefully, you know, it'll work out and we'll get all the money back.
Well, let's hope it's worth it.
I mean, also I'm employing a lot of people now, you know, designers, curators, press officers. It's a huge responsibility to do it properly.
Yeah, right.
And to get, you know, enough traction.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that we'll get a really nice Dutch collector for these pictures anyway, and then hopefully into the first
That's why, that's why I gave you the address earlier, because I think that really could be a
that would be
good one
great.
as well.
Sorry about my hair.
Well, when you started your education at the university, it was still analog.
Yes.
Everything was analog. You already earlier explained about the Vericolor Kodak film, but right now it's digital. When did you make the swap from analog to digital?
We waited because I work with my husband. We're photographers, so we're professional commercial photographers, and we waited for probably about. I think we went digital in about 2006, so quite late.
Yeah.
We waited until it was really good quality and comparable, and you know, at least as good as the analog, if not better. And then we went. We haven't got. Well, we don't use our analog cameras anymore, but we've still got them all up in the loft, you know. But yeah, the digital it has a lot of pluses, bonuses, because there's more. You can do more.
Yeah.
You can take more risk.
Yeah.
Like in the situations where I was shooting the Visible Girls now, you probably could shoot that on an iPhone. Now, which, you know, in the olden days, you'd never even get a smudge on a negative, really. No. Whereas the iPhone, especially the new ones, is just incredible, the technology.
It's getting better and better.
It's getting better all the time. And I suppose what we have to do is use that technology and create a new style, a new genre that still pushes the technology. Because there are a lot of images online that are not very good. And that, I think, is something that we need to teach. Editing is such an important process. You know, everybody, not just students, but the public should be more, you know, more careful about what they put out there, just in terms of quality, really, not necessarily content. Because people get very bored of looking at terrible pictures.
Yeah, it's overkill.
Yeah, overkill. So much to overstimulation. And I think that's an area where I believe that there's an opportunity to teach editing skills. You know, even if you haven't, you know, even if people aren't going to necessarily want to do photography, they'd be interested in learning. Whoops, the editing skills. I'm all hooked up here.
It's getting windy here.
Yeah.
Well, I think that I asked all the questions that I wanted to know and that my colleagues Juliana and Manar wanted to know.
Right.
I would like to thank you for this interview.
Thank you.
I enjoyed it. It was
excellent.
A pleasure talking to you. I wish you a very good time here in Amsterdam.
Yes,
still.
I'm sure I'll be back.
With the projects, it's a beautiful project, and we would like to have a book, by the way.
Oh, okay. You have to go on the INDIGOGO site.
Yes. Okay, well, thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Well, hope to see you soon back in Amsterdam. And this was Anita Corbin with a very, very interesting vision on photography. Thank you, and see you next time. Bye-bye.